Okay, so we've got an image inside Photoshop, and you're noticing that, this looks great and all, but what I want is actually to have the flower totally cut out so that all I see is the leaves and the petals and no sky. That way I can composite this and have other things going on in the background. So what we're going to focus on is how do I cut out the background of an image, all right? Now Photoshop offers lots of different ways of doing this, okay? And I'll show you first just with what you know with the selection tool. You'll notice I can actually select around a given area, and I will click on this image and select. Again, I want to make sure I'm working on the actual layer, so I know I'm on layer 3 because layer 3 is highlighted here. And now if I make a selection and I just hit delete on that layer, you can see I actually can see through that individual layer. It's like it's just cut a hole in it. Okay? So the marquee tool, this tool with the rectangle and the elliptical marquee tool, can make multiple selections and just select and delete. Okay? Again, I'm going to hit Apple D or deselect, select, deselect to get rid of those marching ants. And now I'm going to try another tool to help me get rid of some stuff. Okay? This too is a type of selection tool. They call this the lasso tool. All right? When I work on the lasso tool, I have to click and drag around an image. It'll actually let me draw around it. And if I go back to my very beginning point of where I started and let go, see how it just created a selection? That too, I can just hit delete and it'll delete what's there. If I hit Apple D and deselect, I can get rid of that. So by drawing on selections with the lasso, like I'm showing you right here, okay, going back to the beginning point, I can make selections, okay? Underneath the lasso tool, there's also the polygonal lasso tool. The polygonal lasso tool lets you go ahead and click and draw lines that are straight and then click again to give it anchor points, okay? So that it can make selections around given areas with straight lines if you want straight lines as part of your cutout. Notice the circle again as I come back and close off the circle. Right? You see that little circle that shows up right there? Okay? That means that when I close that selection, now it's closed and I get the marching ants. I can hit delete and that goes away. All right? The magnetic lasso tool also does the same thing. Okay? So magnetic, though, what that does is chooses along color values. So if I zoom in here for a second, okay, and I use the magnetic lasso tool to draw along this edge, you'll see it automatically knows how to grab along a certain layer. Okay, that magnetic lasso tool too does need to be cut off back to its original point to make a selection, and now that does actually close off the selection. All right, so those are 3 ways right there, just very simply, to make those lasso tools to make certain selections to cut things out.